I know the Loverfest isn't happening, but I also wish so badly I could have bought tickets to it because I know it's gonna eventually happen. Basically what I'm saying is I would love to be in a crowd wearing my sparkly, glittery, cute little outfit as I'm dancing around, jumping around, screaming, and just to yell with her and everybody else in the audience because shade never made anybody less gay. I would scream it. I would just bust my vocal cords right there. Forget my vocal degree. I'm done. After that, it's it. Retirement. Guys, it's Nicole. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. First of all, I'd like to say I hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving. Today's video is the last video of my Swiftsgiving series, but don't worry, there will still be more Taylor Swift videos coming. I'll probably post them as I think of new ideas or as you guys request stuff. I'm going to be doing Vlogmas, so also be prepared for that. And if I'm not doing anything a particular day, I really want to rank all of her singles because I haven't really seen many people doing that. They usually rank all of her discography. A lot of you guys really liked last week's video, which I was kind of surprised because it wasn't an analysis, it was like a meme review. The retention on that video is insane. I've never had people watching my video for that long before, so I'm probably going to do a part 2 to that one just sometime in December as I feel the inspiration. So make sure to hit subscribe and turn the bell icon on so that you don't miss any of that. And today we're also going to do something a little more different because I didn't have a whole lot of time to plan. Okay, it is 1 in the morning on Black Friday. I also have to edit the first day of Vlogmas and kind of like finish filming the first day of Vlogmas. This is going to be interesting. But today I have a video for you guys where I look over the review that I made when Lover first came out, and I look at all of my thoughts that I had then and compare them to the thoughts I have about Lover now. I actually also did a review of 1989 back in 2014. If you guys want me to look through that again, I can do that. I feel like that's going to be kind of embarrassing though. I was literally like 15. So the website that I would write these reviews was called polyvore.com. If you're an older subscriber, you will know that I used to be a super active user on Polyvore up until it shut down. I had 18,000 followers on there when it closed down in 2018, but now I'm on this new website that's kind of like a Polyvore alternative. It's called Urstyle, and my username on there is just exonicole. If you want to follow me on there, I'll follow you guys back. But basically what Polyvore was and what Urstyle is, it's like a fashion-centered website where you create these little things called sets and you put like outfits in them, or you can do art-related stuff. You can just pretty much make a collage of any pictures. Here are a few of mine. And also people like to do helpful things, or people will journal on there. It's just kind of whatever you want to do. It's super creative. But over a year ago, I wrote a review of Lover, and the set itself looks like this, and then just down in the description I wrote my review, so we are going to go over that today and see if my opinions still hold. So it says, "Hey guys, so I'm here today with my review of Taylor Swift's Lover. This is such an amazing album, and I'm so happy Taylor is writing just as incredible lyrics as she did when I started listening to her when I was 7. Girl, you don't know what's coming. Folklore? Oh girl, you're not gonna know what hit you. I also think it's cool that she included her diaries from all the previous years for us to read. She's so creative, and I love that she really adds an incentive for people to go out and buy the physical CDs. I listened to it all night when it came out and then made my boyfriend sit and listen to it with me and analyze the production with me, and I'll be mentioning his opinions as well in some of these songs, so let's get to it." I still 100% agree with the diary entries. I think she's always coming up with new ways to be motivated to physically purchase the albums. With Folklore, it wasn't as much. I think there was more of a focus on merch. I know she didn't want to encourage us to go out and buy physical copies, but I also think the different versions of the CD was kind of cool. She always does just like something that's a little bit out of the box. Okay, so the first track, I Forgot That You Existed. Honestly, this wasn't the strongest opening track for me, especially when you consider her previous opening tracks like State of Grace or Ready For It. However, after reading what she was intending to do here, I can kind of understand it more, at least lyrically. She wanted this to be bridging the gap between Reputation and Lover, where this opening track kind of resolves all of the issues from Reputation. It's the musical version of a shrug as you look back on all your hardships with indifference, a sign of brighter days coming. The production was just really lacking for me. I still agree with this. Honestly, like that opening track just did not... When I first heard Lover, it felt a little bit too poppy for me, especially this song with just that basic piano, da 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 da. Like, I don't know, it's just not my favorite thing. I'm used to Taylor Swift opening tracks being just super powerful and strong for me. Dylan described it as having sections where tension is building, but it just starts to fizzle out. There's a lot of space in there for more production to be done, and he thinks that there's space that needs to be filled to match her voice to the music. Now that I've taken a music production class, I do see what he's saying, and I agree with that. I think there are certain spaces in the mix that aren't filled, it feels like. There's like a beat, and there's piano, and then there's her vocals, and there's not a whole lot in between the high and low parts. I also could be explaining this incorrectly. I only took 1 semester class. I do love the harmonies though, but it's definitely lacking something for me, especially considering it's an opening track on a Taylor Swift album. I feel like that sums up my opinion pretty much. Like, her vocals I think are really good, but as far as the production, it's not my fave, which, I mean, that's not really her fault. Like, she has other people producing her stuff, stuff for her. So my favorite lyric was Free Rent Living in My Mind, and I rated it a 7 out of 10. It's funny to look back on stuff that isn't folklore or red because my ratings are just not as high. Okay, next is Cruel Summer. I said, damn, this is a bop. Might even be my favorite song on the album. I have a thing for the tortured longing thing in lyrics. The whole song sounds like a dream, and it's so fun to scream in your car to. God, I did that so much driving home from college on weekends. Like, oh, with the sun just going down, you see that like lover-esque sunset. That's just encapsulates Cruel Summer vibes for me. Also, can we talk about he looks up grinning like a devil? She didn't have to go that hard. Oh my God, that scream. Revisiting this, I wish I could listen to this song for the first time all over again. Really fun synth stuff going on, and I love the way the lyrics are sung. The bridge is great. I love the ranty bridge stuff, kind of like an Out of the Woods. Still 100% stand by that. Favorite lyric, I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you, and I snuck in through the garden gate every night that summer just to seal my fate. My heart. I rated this one a 10 out of 10. I'm pretty sure this is probably my favorite song off that album. Okay, the next one I also rated a 10 out of 10. It's Lover. I said this is so good when this dropped as a single. The week before the album came out, I was all over it. It sounds like classic Taylor. I love the use of real instruments and the wedding metaphors going on. Such a good title track. It really embodies the album as a whole. I'm really glad she chose this instead of Daylight as the title track. I said Taylor's always been really good with title tracks when she has them. Folklore doesn't have a title track. Well, I don't know. I don't think that would fit. I think Folklore is like very much encapsulating the entire album. My favorite lyric is with every guitar string scar on my hand. Still absolutely my favorite lyric from this song, and I rated it a 10 out of 10. Okay, so the fourth track, The Man. This one has such an important message. The bridge is insane. You see how much growth she's gone through to speak out like that lyrical queen. At the time, I didn't like the instrumentation with the lyrics. And Dylan was like, no, I think this is really good that she's doing this because it's so poppy and radio playable that it's a good way to get your message across while sounding like all of the other stuff that's kind of on the radio as far as the music goes, because most people pay attention to the music more than the lyrics, which I'm not built that way, but some of you guys are. I'm probably not Swifties though, for being honest here. But yeah, then she made it a single and then it just freaking flopped, which was such crap. I don't know, maybe it needed to be a little bit more like edgy production to like catch people's attention. I don't know, the music video was so crazy good too, and I barely know any people who've even watched it. That just makes me sad. Everyone did her so dirty with The Man. Even though it's not my favorite song on the album, I feel like The Man is the song from Lover that people are going to be talking about like years from now. I don't know, I just feel like it like did something, you know? It's a good way to get your message across, as Dylan was saying, because it sounded like such a fun and light song to sing to, but it turns out you're singing about a bullshit double standard. Favorite lyric, if I was out flashing my dollars, I'd be a not a baller. And then I put a ton of exclamation points because oh my God, I really wish I could hear this song again for the first time. Rating 9 out of 10. I don't know, I feel like I would give it a 10 out of 10 now. Something hit different after that music video. Okay, the next track is The Archer, a really nice vulnerable song. Oh, I still stand by this, but I don't think it deserves to be track 5 as much as Cornelia Street does. That one's even more vulnerable. There hasn't been a track 5 that hits like all too well in the last 3 albums, and I think Cornelia Street would have come so close. I think I'll still stand by that. I don't know, The Archer is still so anxious. I mean, Cornelia Street is also pretty anxious. Why are the songs on Lover so anxious? It's called Lover, not Anxiety. There's some really nice, well thought out poetic lyrics happening here. Beautiful imagery once again. Still agree. The instrumentation falls a little flat for me. I think the drum beat that eventually comes in could be a little stronger. The whole thing kind of sounds like a watered down version of Lord's Supercut to me. I really like the 80s feel and thought it was super reminiscent of 1989, and the style fits her really well, like that 80s synth vibe. Yeah, that drum beat that finally comes in, it's really good live. I loved The Archer even more once I'd heard it live because that drum beat like hits harder, but as far as in the studio version, it just needs to like, they see right through me, they see right through, like it needs to like hit you, you know what I mean? But I also see, I can't remember if people theorized this or she actually came out and said it, but I don't know, somebody was saying that the song is supposed to sound like Anxiety. Like there's this feeling in the instrumentation that it doesn't resolve and it makes you kind of on edge, and that's the feeling that she's trying to convey. So now I understand the purpose of doing that. I still think that beat could be harder though. I mean, I always say that. My favorite lyric is, I wake in the night, I pace like a ghost, the room is on fire, invisible smoke, and all of my heroes die all alone. Then I put in parentheses, I love when Taylor does like crumbling, burning, flooding room metaphors like clean and dancing with our hands tied. Oh my God, yes. Like I punched a hole in the roof, let the flood carry away. away all my pictures of you. The visuals. I'm also dancing with our hands tied. If I could dance with you again, I'd kiss you as the lights went out, swaying as the room burned down. I'd hold you as the water rushes in. I love that kind of imagery from her. I said something about this verse stuck out to me, specifically, all of my heroes die all alone. She sounds like she's desperate for that not to happen to her. Yep, I love that line still, specifically for that reason. I rated this one an 8 out of 10. Number 6, I Think He Knows. Oh, this one is such a bop. Such an amazing all bass and snap start to it. I love the expression in her vocals. I love it. It's super fun and flirty. It kind of reminds me of the way she sings Blew All the Money on the Boys in the ballet in The Last Great American Dynasty. Taylor Swift isn't the most like stunning singer, but the expression in her vocals is like, you don't see that often. You could really recognize her voice. I would totally be dancing like crazy to this if I knew how to dance. Still agree. I also love the percussion in the chorus. There's like a wine glass breaking or something periodically. Still don't know exactly what that is, but I love it. My favorite lyric, lyrical smile, indigo eyes. I'm still obsessed with that. Oh God, the language. I rate this one a 10 out of 10. Next is Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. Okay, lyrically, I'm still trying to figure this one out. It's supposedly a metaphor on American politics. Does anyone know if that's been confirmed yet? God, girls, just look at the words. That is so funny. Especially now thinking of the documentary that came out named after this song. Like, of course it's political. The style of the song makes me think of Lana or Halsey. I think the sound of the bridge is kind of cheesy, personally, like all the cheerleader stuff, but it fits the theme. Some of the interesting lyrical interpretations I've seen are that so sad we paint the town blue as a nod to the color of the Democratic Party, and boys will be boys then where are the wise men, darling, I'm scared. Like, that one's super obvious. Also, they whisper in the hallway she's a bad, bad girl. Could be about everyone criticizing her for not speaking out and kind of running away to England in the midst of the political disaster of 2016. It took a few listens for me, but I think I'm on the road to understanding this better. Taylor definitely serves us something to think about with this one. Still 100% agree. It's super subtle. Was this the first political song we'd heard from her? I mean, you need to calm down, the man. I wouldn't call that political though. That's more like women need rights and gays need rights. That's not political to me. That's just common sense. But in this one, it is a commentary on the political climate, but it's so subtle and it's so personal. The fact that she's not just giving her opinion, she's like, this made me feel this way, it affected me this way, so I ran to England, and then this was people's reactions, and they told me I need to come home. Like, it digs deep, but it's also, you're only able to figure out what she's talking about after a few listens. The pop song professor does a really good analysis of this, I think. I don't know, I heard him say why he loves this song so much, and it's because it's like really not in your face political, it's just very personable, which when most people are writing political songs, they're kind of more of like an anthem. Like Only the Young is very much like obviously political and very much like on a certain side. It was used in the Biden campaign, but this one is just like what happened to her in 2016, which most people don't choose that route to write. So yeah, my favorite lyric is the whole school is rolling fake dice. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I rated this one a 9 out of 10. I think I still stick by that. Like, it's really good, but it's not my absolute favorite. Like, I reserve the 10 out of 10s for specific songs. This writing is fantastic though. Okay, next is Paper Rings. This one is so fun. It was Dylan's favorite. I love the influences from the older pop punk girl bands and even some rock and roll influences with the percussion. The song reminds me of Walking on Sunshine, maybe. This is a good song to prove she's still an attentive and personal songwriter. Yes, 100%. The line, which takes me back to the color we painted your brother's wall. Who just like writes about painting the walls in a song? The dynamics are great and I love how percussion heavy it is. It's so fun to sing and the harmonies are wonderful. The electric guitar parts are a nice touch, and I appreciate the fade out at the end. This would be the perfect song to use in a movie. 100% agree there. Like the final like rolling credits as the film ends. Favorite lyric, the moon is high like your friends were the night that we first met. Went home and tried to stalk you on the internet. Now I've read all of the books beside your bed. The wine is cold like the shoulder that I gave you in the street. And then I put in parentheses the whole first verse, okay? Yeah, I love that she compares the moon to being high and then cold wine and a cold shoulder. Her use of language, I wonder how long it takes her to think of these things, and I rated this one a 9 out of 10. Okay, next is Cornelia Street. I said, oh damn, this is like all too well in a slightly more positive light. The nostalgia is the exact same. And then in all capitals, I said it should have been track 5, I'm telling you. Especially considering it's also like the part 2 to Delicate. Like, listen to that drum track, it's the same. But honestly, I think it's better than Delicate. There's more variation to the instrumentation. That's such an obnoxious rhyme. The piano is so good. The little Finding Nemo effect is so good. In the beginning, there's like, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of produced, it's similar to piano. Just go listen to it. You'll know what I mean. It sounds like kind of the background music that's happening in Finding Nemo. It makes me want to boogie, but also want to cry. This song is golden, it's so sad and hard-hitting, but what's so interesting is this is all stuff that she's built up in her head. She wasn't even left by her lover, and she was able to pull these kinds of thoughts out. The chorus hits so well, it does the same higher-pitched fun stuff that the I Think He Knows chorus does. This is kind of fictional also, like she was doing fictional writing before folklore even happened. Like the fact that Cornelia Street is like, what would happen if they broke up? Like that didn't happen, but she's able to imagine that. Also, Barefoot in the Kitchen, Sacred New Beginnings That Became My Religion has the exact same melody from the chorus of Invisible on her debut album. A lot of other people were picking up on this. She did the same thing with Exile, where she sings And I Didn't Like the Ending. Same melody as If This Was a Movie on, I think, the deluxe edition of Speak Now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Baby, What About the Ending? So yeah, that could be a reference to that. Just kind of like, I feel like Barefoot in the Kitchen, Sacred New Beginning is like, it is a reference to I just want to show you she don't even know you, because she's with this amazing love and doesn't feel invisible anymore, but maybe she's freaking out that that could be taken from her and she could go back to that state of feeling like that. Who knows? That's actually really deep. Good job, Nicole. I also love that she brought back the repetition of the very first line at the very end of the song like she used to do in her older stuff. I rent a place on Cornelia Street, I say casually in the car. I think she repeats that at the end, which she used to do constantly in her older music. Cornelia Street is a lot to unpack sonically, as it seems like such a nod to so many of her previous works. It's a masterpiece, honestly. My favorite lyric was, and baby, I get mystified by how this city screams your name. That's so interesting to me because it sounds like something where like a bunch of fans are screaming your name, which is what's happening to Taylor, not to Joe necessarily. So it's like, I don't know, the way she sees him in this light, kind of how we look at Taylor, she looks at Joe maybe. She's looking at him in such a mystified, amazed way, as if you were looking at a celebrity who's being screamed at by thousands of fans. So I rated this one a 10 out of 10 and I still stick by that. Next is Death by a Thousand Cuts. I love the chorus with the guitar part. It's so creative and carefree sounding that it really contrasts with the dramatic, sad lyrics. Yep. Also the title, Death by a Thousand Cuts. We love an overdramatic emo. Go off, Taylor. There are cool things done with the production here where the guitar only comes through one headphone. The random weird piano stuff is a nice touch too. Yeah, that rolling, like, there were a lot of like strange sounds in here at first. I don't think I was a huge fan, but like as I got used to it, I was, because I went through such a Death by a Thousand Cuts phase after watching her perform it live at that NPR show, Tiny Desk, the Tiny Desk concert. Got her playing it live with the acoustic guitar. Just stripping it down like that sometimes makes me go through a phase of a song after the album has been released, because I'm like, oh my god, I just watched the Folklore Long Pond sessions the other night, and August, oh my god, I was kind of sleeping on it, honestly, but hearing it acoustically like that, I just spit all over my laptop. Hearing it acoustically like that, oh my god, and that shriek she does, oh my god, it just, yeah, I'm gonna go through an August phase now, which is apt, I guess, since it's the end of November. I talked about that weird violin whine tone that's especially prominent in the ending. When my mom heard it, she was like, what is this sound, Nicole? Is that screaming seagulls? But yeah, it's a little bit jarring, it's a little bit strange. I said even here that it's grown on me since I first heard it, and it makes the song more unique, and I started to appreciate those new sounds, and now it's not even like strange to me at all. Favorite lyric, paper cut stings from our paper thin plans. Oh my god, that is such an underappreciated lyric. Paper cut stings from our paper thin plans. She doesn't have to go this hard, or it would be, I ask the traffic lights if it'll be all right. They say, I don't know. What does that mean? I still wonder, because traffic lights are very, am I about to do a whole analysis on this? Traffic lights are very decisive. It's either, well, yellow. I guess that's what that means. She's saying the traffic lights are yellow. She asks them a question and it turns yellow. Is that it? Why is she asking a question before the light turns yellow? Go, Taylor! Anyways, I'm gonna think too far into this, so I'm gonna move on. I rated this one a 9 out of 10. I think I still stick by that. It's maybe like a 9.5 out of 10 now, because I have a new appreciation for it since I've seen it live with just acoustic guitar, especially with how driving that acoustic guitar is. But yeah, still not a top fave on this album. God, I haven't listened to London Boy in so long. This song is so fun and flirty. It kind of makes me think of I Think He Knows. The first time I heard it, I felt like she was almost poking a little fun at her British man. Like, I'm sure he said, I fancy you to her, and she's like making a whole montage of her experiences with him, particularly in his native town, and it has such a light feel to it. Is he from London or is he from the Lakes District? I love the rappy vibe to it. Yeah, she's got a good flow in this. Like, Endgame or Ready for It, absolutely. But it's like so happy and poppy, but it still has that that vocal flow like Endgame are ready for it. The brass is also really wonderful in the chorus. It gives me like kind of Panic at the Disco vibes, especially their more recent stuff. Overall, such a nice, flirty, playful song. Oh my god, do we remember how native Londoners were getting mad about her like romanticizing Camden Market? And I said, which I get may be frustrating, but I feel like this song isn't supposed to be taken seriously and people are making way too big a deal about it. Still agree. People aren't talking about this anymore, but when she says, give me a gray sky or rainy cab ride, babes, don't threaten me with a good time, that's sarcasm, obviously. Just like I feel like her talking about, oh, I love going to Camden Market in the afternoon. It's like sarcastic. I don't know. That's just how I'm interpreting it. I don't feel like it's super serious. Like, this is the most amazing time I've ever had. Like, to me, that's the vibe I'm getting from the lakes. Like, I feel like she is having the most amazing time in the Lakes District. Maybe not so much London. Like, it's Taylor Swift. Why would she want to be in a crowded, like, it's sarcasm, I feel like, and people were just taking it way too seriously. I said she's not really romanticizing it as much as saying she loves these places strictly because she's with Joe. Still agree there. Like, do you really think Taylor genuinely feels like show me a gray sky, a rainy cab ride, babes, don't threaten me with a good time? She's obviously showing that in any situation she loved being in England with her lover, even if it was gloomy or crowded or whatever. It's lighthearted, goddammit. Yep, still stand by that. Then I said, okay, rant over, wonderful song. My favorite lyric is, and you know I love Springsteen, faded blue jeans, Tennessee whiskey. And I rated this one a 10 out of 10. Is this still a 10 out of 10 for me? Maybe I'm replacing London Boy with Death by a Thousand Cuts. Okay, next is Soon You'll Get Better, featuring the Dixie Chicks. I said, oh man, this song hurts. It's really nice to hear her with real instruments again, like in Lover, the song, particularly banjos and fiddles and other country instruments. Her voice sounds so soft and real. You can really hear the emotions behind it, and I was confused at first about this being a collab. Like, it seemed like a kind of song that should be done alone, but the Dixie Chicks serve as really wonderful backup vocals. I have a parent with cancer, and it was a hard-hitting song for me. It really hits when Taylor sings, who am I supposed to talk to? What am I supposed to do if there's no you? Ooh, it hurts. My one little grievance with this song is the repetitive chorus. I feel like there could have been more there. I mean, yeah, maybe. It kind of, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of her super repetitive choruses, like Look What You Made Me Do. Especially a song like this, I feel like there could be a little bit more there. However, the verses are just so detailed that I understand why she wouldn't want the chorus to be like super detail loaded. Just the whole first verse, describing the first time at the doctor's office and like holy orange bottles. Those are words that you need to digest for a second, so I understand why the chorus is only, ooh, soon you'll get better. Also, the placement of this song on the album. What? Between London Boy and False God? Still agree. What the heck is it doing there? I don't want to cry about cancer and then hear the altar is my hips. That's just not it for me personally. I like to put the songs on shuffle so that maybe that will be less likely to happen to me. And I said, but still, it's such a wonderful song that really allows listeners to feel her pain. Yes, she was very relatable in this song. I think a lot of people understand what she's going through, unfortunately. The fact that my favorite lyric is only 3 words tells you pretty much all you need to know about Taylor Swift's songwriting. My favorite lyric is Holy Orange Bottles, and I rated this one an 8 out of 10. Okay, next is False God. We love a sexy Taylor, pun intended. This song is so different from anything she's ever done. I love the mellow feel and the brass instruments again. She needs to do more of this. Also kind of feels like a part 2 to Don't Blame Me. I haven't thought about that since I wrote this review. Yeah, probably. If you see me moving around a lot, it's because I have to pee. But also, religion's in your lips, the altar is my hips. Taylor, what? Not gonna elaborate anymore on what this may be insinuating, as I want to keep it PG. This song has grown on me more and more since it was released. Absolutely. Still to this day, it's grown on me even more. But the one part that doesn't feel right to me still is they all warned us about times like this. They say the road gets hard and you get lost when you're led by blind faith. It just doesn't fit in there. It feels like she's trying to squeeze too many words into that line. But the previous line about New York City is so creative and fits in there really well. Yeah, I still agree with this. It felt like she was really cramming in that sentence. I feel like she does that also with like Welcome to New York. If you want me to go over what my thoughts were when that first came out, I can do that. But yeah, like there's like weird, it's like the words don't fit quite right into the flow, something like that. My favorite lyric is I can't talk to you when you're like this, staring out the window like I'm not your favorite town, I'm New York City. That like kind of cuts. And I rated this one a 7 out of 10. I might give it an 8 out of 10 now. It's definitely grown on me and it's really hit that she hadn't done anything like this before. I want her to do a jazz album. That's what I want next. Next is You Need to Calm Down. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of this song. It's so poppy and electronic, but the lyrics are so important and send such a critical message. The music video is also something that really makes this song. Without the message in the second verse and the music video, You Need to Calm Down would not be what it is. Yeah, I agree with that. It kind of has the same vibes for me as Look What You Made Me Do. While the lyrics definitely do come in handy in the second verse of You Need to Calm Down, Look What You Made Me Do as a song itself was not doing a whole lot for me. I understand it was very iconic in the vibes of Reputation being set with the first single and the first music video. It's the music video of Look What You Made Me Do that we remember so much. It's not the song itself, it's like the vibes, you know? And the crazy Easter eggs of Look What You Made Me Do. So yeah, I think that's also what's going on with this song. I also like her Snakes and Stones Never Broke My Bones throwback to the Reputation era. But anybody giving her shit for speaking out about equality needs to just shove it up their ass. Honestly, people are mad because she's straight and speaking out about this. Ever heard of allies? And it's not like she's pulling it out of nowhere. Taylor is known for writing about what she lives or even what her friends live sometimes. She obviously has several LGBTQ friends. They appear in the video, for God's sake. She sees them being treated unfairly in her everyday life. Of course, she's gonna write about it. Yeah, in the beginning, people were calling it like performative, and I understand where they're coming from, like white, straight, successful, rich people profiting off of activism, but I don't. She's been doing this forever. It isn't a sudden thing. Like, Welcome to New York saying you can want who you want, boys and boys and girls and girls. I personally didn't see it as performative. I mean, I'm also not part of the LGBTQ community, so it's not really my position to say that, but I don't know, that was just my opinion. I see her intentions are pure. It doesn't seem sudden and random. It's been kind of building from the beginning, it feels like, as she became more and more comfortable voicing her opinions, and as she got more and more friends that were part of that community. Like, she wants to stick up for them. I don't see it as anything other than, like, I don't know, just pure intentions. And her starting a petition for the Equality Act, shouting out GLAD, what is there to be mad about? Especially at a time like this, someone as powerful as Taylor is exactly the type of person who needs to be speaking out and calling out people in power. Yeah, it wasn't just her trying to raise awareness, like she was actually calling out the White House, which, like, they're gonna listen to people who are white and straight more. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And then she also had all of her friends up on stage. Yeah, she literally had, like, I think the drag queens up on stage with her at, is it the AMAs, when she said it's time for the White House to respond to us. She had everybody up on stage with us. There's a picture of Todrick holding the award. Like, I don't know, it felt like she was trying to include people who had relevant experience. I mean, yeah, that's just my opinion. And my favorite lyric was, "'Cause Shade never made anybody less gay." I know the Loverfest isn't happening, but I also wish so badly I could have bought tickets to it, because I know it's gonna eventually happen. Basically, what I'm saying is I would love to be in a crowd wearing my sparkly, glittery, cute little outfit as I'm dancing around, jumping around, screaming, and just to yell with her and everybody else in the audience, "'Cause Shade never made anybody less gay." I would scream it. I would just bust my vocal cords right there. Forget my vocal degree. I'm done. After that, it's it. Retirement. And I rated this one an 8 out of 10. I think, honestly, this one should be moved up to a 9. It kind of sucks that this one got more attention than The Man. I mean, I'm glad that this one did, if the other one didn't. I think it did better than The Man did on the charts. So I definitely can give that to You Need to Calm Down. Okay, so next is Afterglow. Not a super strong one for me. I don't think it's that interesting lyrically. I really like the drums. They take the lead. The style is also nice because it's reminiscent of the 80s. The main focus here is instrumental, in my opinion. Just a simple little song about apologizing for a fight, and may even be admitting fault, even if there wasn't much fault on her part, simply because she doesn't want to lose him. Like, would you rather win the argument and lose the person? Like, that kind of thinking I think I was going for. Man, I gotta pee so bad.
Moments later.
Oh yeah, Afterglow. Is that a double entendre? I don't know, I'm not French. Double entendre? Is that what that is? Afterglow? Doesn't that mean something dirty? Winning the fight is not worth it to her, and she's willing to push her pride aside. Yeah, I still stand by that. I mean, that's a really simple review, kind of. I don't know, it felt like the end of Lover was like less strong for me than the very beginning. Favorite lyric is, "This ultraviolet morning light below tells me this love is worth the fight, oh." Rating 7 out of 10. Yeah, I'd still stick by that. Next is Me, featuring Brendan Urie. This one was a fun first single. It's not that serious and honestly not that great. It definitely has some shallower lyrics, but I really enjoyed the music video, the vocoder used in the beginning, and the snare drum. It was mostly just a collab of everyone's dreams. Brendan and Taylor are so good together, and honestly I think they should continue to work together. Still stick by that. Oh my god, they're so cute, and the way that they're like almost the same height, it's just like, they look like a brother and sister. It's a duo. When the song first came out, I wanted to love it so badly and convinced myself I did, but it's not one that ages well now that the full album is out and it can be compared to the literal masterpieces on Lover. But she's never been great at choosing first singles, so I'm not mad about it. Yeah, I learned a long time ago not to base my expectations of what the album would be off of the first few singles. Like, there's gonna be stuff that's like absolute gems that just don't get any attention. That's just how life works. Spit all over my computer again. My favorite lyric was "Living in winter, I am your summer." And then I put in parentheses, "It took a lot of thinking to find one, honestly. These lyrics just aren't up to par with her other songs." Still agree. I gave that one a 7 out of 10 also. Next is "It's Nice to Have a Friend." At first I was not that into this one. It's in a unique song form. The lyrics are nice and I like the trumpet and steel drums. I saw so many people calling the steel drums a xylophone. Yep, she used some singing school children for the vocal chorus, I think. Upon closer listening, there's also some muted ukulele in there, which made me like it even more. I play ukulele. It's grown on me since it was put out. Also, fun fact, it was inspired by the film 8th Grade. Yeah, it hasn't grown on me as much as False God did. I haven't listened to it in so long, honestly, if I'm being completely real with you. I mean, it's good, it's cute. It's like, I don't know, I know a lot of people think of it as an interlude, and then like, they're like, "It's nice to have a friend" stans who like look down on people who do that, but it's kind of like an interlude for me. Sorry. My favorite lyric was "Light pink sky up on the roof, sun sinks down, no curfew." I also really like "Call my bluff, call you babe." It reminds me of "This love, you keep his shirt, he keeps his word," like kind of switching stuff around like that. Okay, and the last track is "Daylight." This is a very appropriate ending track. I think it's super mellow though. And honestly, a lot of the end of the album kind of blends together for me sonically. Still agree, I really have not listened to these songs in a while. Like, I listen to "Cruel Summer" like every single day. I listen to "Cornelia Street," I Think He Knows, "Death by a Thousand Cuts," "The Man," even "False God," but like these last few, I don't know, I just really don't listen to him that much. It feels like Lover definitely has a stronger start than an end, but still, this is a good track to close with. It contains a lot of resolution for the album. I think "Daylight" is a stronger ending track than "I Forgot That You Existed" is as an opening track. It's also entirely self-written. I love that about "Daylight." The instrumentation feels pretty 80s again. The repetitive synthy bass really encapsulates that. And she brings back a lot of themes from Red, like the "love is golden, not red" kind of stuff. I love that. I love when she performs it live. I think it's like one of those songs that's just gonna be better live. I really like the effects on her vocals, particularly in the bridge. And I love the voice memo ending. It's just perfect as a closer. So as far as closers go, it's probably one of my favorites that she's done on an album, but as far as her songs in general goes, I mean, I rated this one a 7 out of 10 too. What can you do? My favorite lyric was "I once believed love would be burning red, but it's golden." That's gonna be everyone's favorite lyric from this song. And then I said, so yeah, there's my review. Such a good album. Some other things I really liked overall was how cohesive she made it, while also having every track bring something a little bit new to the table. The lyrical themes are what really play into each other. There's a lot of mentions of the color blue, daylight, and a comparison between a ruthless dark night and the relief of the break of a new day. So refreshing. She really brings such great stuff to pop music this year with Lover. Do you guys have differences in opinions, like from the time you first heard an album versus now? Because I feel like some songs kind of fade into the back for me, and others just come full force in my face as I see her perform them live and do other stuff like August or This Is Me Trying. I don't know, I feel like with Folklore there's not a single song that would fade into the back for me. Possibly Epiphany, just because it's so like slow. Other than that, I'm gonna go through a phase of every single one of those songs. Like every month of next year is just gonna be a new Folklore song that I'm just obsessing over. So yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know what your thoughts are on Lover then versus now down in the comments. Was there a song that you really liked that you're really tired of now, or vice versa? Was there something that you didn't think was that special that you now are like, oh my god, I have seen the light? And yeah, I will see you guys for Vlogmas every single day of December. You're gonna see the real me. Listen, it's not gonna be pretty. Maybe some days it will be, but overall, we'll see. So I hope you all have an amazing day and are staying safe. I love you guys, and make sure to follow me on urstyle and also Instagram, because I love talking to you guys on there. The DMs that I get, like, that's why I keep making videos, honestly. So yeah, have an amazing day, and I will see you guys on December 1st for Vlogmas. Bye guys.